Greetings, citizens of Earth. I'm Tor Thorson, welcoming our new robot overlords.
And I'm Tim Surratt, vowing to keep up the fight against the reptilian extraterrestrial invaders. Who writes this crap?
Dude, you're talking about the miniseries V. I'm talking about the day the Earth stood still.
Yeah, but those came out in the 80s and the 50s, man. You gotta update your pop culture references, Grandpa.
Dude, I'm 26.
Yeah, for the 8th year in a row.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about with that. You know, I'm down with all the latest hip musical trends. That Gnarls Barkley is the bomb for shizzle.
Yeah, could you be any more 2004, buddy?
Well, I do wish I turned back the clock, as many gamers did this week, when they heard the #1 event on the game industry calendar has been given an extreme makeover. And we're not talking about the kind that turns a dowdy housewife into a smoking MILF, no sir. This week, the Entertainment Software Association announced that next year's Electronic Entertainment Expo, or as the kids like to call it, E3, will be a more intimate event. And sorry, nerds, by intimate, they don't mean that you get to have a candlelight dinner with Lara Croft model Karima Adebibibe. I like it very much. Sorry, intimate this year means that E3 2006 was the last event of its kind. While that massive expo drew over 60,000 undersexed and overweight gamers to the Los Angeles Convention Center, the new E3 will only see 5,000 attendees congregate at one or two downtown LA hotels. The ESA is billing changes as a return to the event's low-key trade show roots. ESA President Doug Lowenstein said that, with such large events as the Leipzig Game Convention and Tokyo Game Show going on, it is no longer necessary or efficient to have a single industry mega show.
Though you could practically hear millions of gamers simultaneously howl in anguish after hearing about the downsizing of eTrizzle, most publishers issue statements hailing the changes as the best thing to happen since force feedback. Microsoft said it was great to see the show evolving to meet the needs of the industry. Sony said it supported the board's decision to pursue other types of events that can better address the needs of our industry and further its growth. Electronic Arts deemed it an appropriate evolution of the E3 event, and in terms of cost savings, it will save us multiple millions next year. All puppy dogs and rainbows, right? Actually, GameSpot was told by several sources that those same three companies, along with THQ, were the primary sources of pressure on the ESA to change E3 to its new and improved, smaller format. While nothing of the sort has been officially confirmed, see what we did there, we're covering our tracks so no one sues us. One thing is clear, somebody put pressure on the ESA to change since the organization made over $12 million alone on floor space rental.
In other news, Electronic Arts issued an earnings report this week for the first quarter of its financial year, which ended on June 30th. The good news? The company's revenue increased by 13% thanks to brisk sales of Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, Need for Speed Most Wanted, The Sims 2, Fight Night Round 3, and 2006 FIFA World Cup. Thanks to international enthusiasm for the titular quadrennial Footy Fest, the multi-platform game has sold over 2.8 million copies worldwide. Now the bad news. EA lost $81 million during the quarter, despite selling $194 million worth of console games, $66 million worth of PC games, and $52 million worth of handheld games. The shortfall was attributed to the expensing of stock-based compensation and costs associated with developing games for the PlayStation 3 and Wii, which launched this fall. However, EA's next-gen expenditures are already bearing fruit. The company now claims to have published 3 of the top 10 best-selling titles for Microsoft's next-generation console, the Xbox 360, in North America and Europe.
You know what time it is now? Time to mosey on down to Rumor Town. This week's rumor isn't so much a rumor as it is a fact that hasn't yet been confirmed. Some very convincing-looking scans attributed to the Australian edition of GamePro surfaced this week, all of which apparently revealed details about the second Grand Theft Auto game for the PSP, Vice City Stories. You're looking forward to that one. According to the scans, the game will be set in 1984, 2 years before the events of the PlayStation 2 classic Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Players will step into the loafers of Vic Vance, the long-lost brother of Vice City villain Lance Vance. You know, the one he would not stop talking about. Bigger and badder than his sibling, who was voiced by former Miami Vice star and one-time television psychic Philip Michael Thomas, Vic is a 28-year-old U.S. Marine taking some R&R in Vice City on his way to his posting at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. And like anyone who visits Vice City, he gets mixed up with some criminal elements, which the Aussie edition of GamePro says are involved in the tropical metropolis's real estate boom. Vance will also be able to access an arsenal of new weapons and a garage of new vehicles, not seen in any previous GTA. But sadly, it appears as though Dan Marino has been left out of the game again. Rockstar also promised the game will have much better graphics than the first PSP game in the series, Liberty City Stories. Reportedly, it will have twice the draw distance of the console Vice City, meaning that you'll be able to see even further down the road when you're being chased by the BC-50. Although Rockstar hasn't confirmed or denied reports, the scans look real enough for us to call this net bogus. Now for the latest news developments, we turn it over to our colleague, Brendan Sinclair, who's currently defending the GameSpot news desk from an advancing zombie horde. B-Money, put down the shotgun and drop some science on these fools.
Thanks, guys. We got a few late-breaking news bits for you this week. First of all, Epic Games announced the release date for Gears of War, Xbox 360 first-person shooter. It's going to come out on November 12th in the States and November 17th in the UK. Now, that matches up pretty closely to Sony's PlayStation 3 launch of November 17th in both places, and it looks clearly like it's part of Microsoft's strategy to counter Sony's next-gen console launch. Another part of the strategy, which hasn't been confirmed yet, but is showing up on retailer sites and has been rumored on message boards for a while, is that there will be an Xbox 360 bundle, including the premium version of the system, Project Gotham Racing 3, a marketplace points card, and 3 months of Xbox Live Gold, and that it will retail for the same price that the Xbox 360 bundle with the hard drive sells for alone right now. That hasn't been confirmed yet. We're expecting, if something does happen with it, it would be announced in the next week or two. Next, Ubisoft announced that they will have 7 titles ready for the Wii launch. In addition to Red Steel and the new Rayman, which they already confirmed as launch titles for the Wii, they're going to have Blazing Angels, a Far Cry game, their open season game based on the animated movie, GT Pro Series, and Monster 4x4 World Circuit, which was released on the Xbox in March, I believe, and GameSpot's own Alex Navarro dubbed it a complete and utter bore. Let's hope they change that for the Wii version. Finally, Activision, in their quarterly earnings call with investors, announced that they are going to have new versions of Call of Duty, Guitar Hero, and Tony Hawk in 2007-2008. That's not really surprising, but they also announced their first use of the James Bond license, which they acquired earlier this year after EA took a pass on it. Instead of coinciding the first James Bond game with the release of Casino Royale, the first movie with the new James Bond, Daniel Craig, that comes out in November, they're going to wait until the second movie comes out. Now, that means that we should see the first Activision-produced James Bond game maybe around May of 2008, which is the tentative release date for that movie. That's about all we've got for this week, guys. Back to you.
Most edifying, young Master Sinclair. I look forward to discussing this matter further with you at the Fox Hunt. Well, that about wraps it up for this week. For GameSpot News, I'm Tor Thorson.
And I am Tim Surratt. For all the latest game news like Mortal Kombat Armageddon coming to the Wii and my gratuitous hatred for J.J. Redick, double dribble over to news.gamespot.com. We'll see you next week.